Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the gym. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully, you're having a lovely start to your week. It is Scarlet and Violet week. That's right. This Friday, man, oh man, we've got a brand new entry into the Pokemon franchise. Anybody hyped about that? Anybody excited? Ready to go? I'm pumped about it. We have got a real exciting kind of end to 2022. We've got Scarlet and Violet coming out this Friday. I have not seen any spoilers from the game. Okay, I don't even know what the starter evolutions look like yet. Somebody told me that the cat ends up on 2 feet. Dang. But that's about it. That's all I know. Other than that, I got no idea. So, yeah. Someone told me that the cat ends up on 2 feet. And then I've seen... I've seen a lot of talk about the duck's evolution. But I haven't actually, seen them. I don't really know what the deal is, but I've seen a lot of talk about the duck evolution. Apparently he's kind of fabulous. And then I heard that the cat ends up on 2 feet, of course. And then my starter was always going to be Fuecoco anyway. But I have no idea. I have no idea what Fuecoco ends up looking like. Yeah, I don't know. I'm imagining it's going to look like a Komodo dragon. Like kind of just a big, long, red lizard boy. Jantiri, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Thank you. The most important piece of advice for newcomers when learning to play Pokemon, just have fun with it. Have fun with it. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Focus on friendships. Focus on... focus on having fun and just spending time with your friends, because that's the most important part of this hobby. I feel like a lot of that gets lost in the clout chase. People end up doing all sorts of crazy stuff and focusing on how much clout they have. Yeah, stay away from all that. Just just have fun with your friends. Do it for the love of the game. That would be my biggest advice. It's not about how many tournaments you win or how many likes you get on Twitter or none of that. Just have fun. Honestly, it's about the road trips. It's about the memories. Friends, Danka says friends are temporary, clout lasts forever. Not true. Not true. It's the opposite of that is true. Anime Show says it's unfortunate when you don't have friends to have fun with. Well, you should make some friends. There are lots of friends to be made in the Pokemon community. Lots. You can make friends online. You can make friends at League. You can make friends at tournaments. When I started playing Pokemon cards, if you want to know, how I started making friends in the Pokemon community, right? I had a girlfriend at the time. I had collected cards for a while, and I had a girlfriend at the time who I started playing cards with. at the time, one of our first dates that we had, we played Heart Gold, Soul Silver together. This was like in 2010. All right, it's a long, 13 years ago. I barely remember it. All right, but this was like, we were in college, and back when I was in college, like, I didn't play the game competitively, but I followed VGC just a little bit, but like, I only followed the video game through Smogon. I did not care about official doubles format or any of that. I did play a little bit of Smogon, a little bit of Smogon's formats, whatever sort of like, battle simulator they use to like play on Smogon, where you just like kind of craft your perfect team and then play. I used to do that in college a little bit, and then I would also play my Nintendo DS, right? And I learned about breeding and IV training and all of that. So I did that in college, and then started dating this girl. We started, we played the video game together, but then like I used to go to Walmart and just like buy a pack of, cards every once in a while. And if I pulled something cool, I'd put it in my binder, right? And I remember pulling a Tyranitar Prime back when I was in college, and I thought this was the dopest thing ever. And I used to like play my own kind of homebrew decks, like unlimited format, just playing with whatever we had. I knew how to play the game, actually, because I went to a Toys R Us league back in like the early, back in like 1999. I went to a Toys R Us league, and they like taught me how to play. And I must have had a serious memory, because like I retained that. I probably also had like the little rule books lying around, and like I actually read them, and I knew how to play. So like I had these homebrew decks that I would like play with my buddy in high school, and we would just play. I had a lightning deck and he had a water deck, so we would play with no weakness, because that would be unfair. And a lot of us, we worked really hard on our decks, and we each only had one deck. So, because you know what it's like to be in high school. You don't just have like money. So, yeah, and our decks were like total homebrew, whatever, just whatever we had lying around. His deck had Blastoise in it. My deck had Zapdos in it, and it was a lot of fun. So I like knew how to play the game, and I thought Tyranitar Prime was like the dopest card. Right? It had 3 attacks. That's so sick. To give you guys an idea, you guys know what Tyranitar Prime looks like? This card is sick. If any Pokemon card is going to influence you to completely redirect your life. Yeah, thank you, Darth Shoves, for the tier 1 sub and the 5 months. If any Pokemon card is going to convince you to completely redirect your life towards the Pokemon TCG, it might just be Tyranitar Prime. Yeah. So I remember looking online, because I was curious. I used to be like curious about how much like some of my cards would be worth or whatever. And like Tyranitar was like $25-$30. And I was like, my God, that's expensive. Because I was broke, dude. I was real broke. When I was in Walmart, it was like I was spending, the only $5 I had on a pack of Pokemon cards. It was like that, because I was a broke college kid. I just didn't have no money. So one day, my girlfriend and I decided to buy theme decks from Walmart, right, which are like $12 a piece. So I got the dark theme deck, and she got the psychic theme deck, and she used to destroy me every time. It was the Espeon theme deck. She had the Espeon one, and I had the Umbreon one. So yeah, and I can show you, because we started playing during like the Heart Gold Soul Silver black and white era. Yeah, it was literally this one with the shatter hollow right here. This one, right? So yeah, she would destroy me with this Espeon theme deck. I had the Umbreon theme deck. This one. Yeah, he couldn't keep up. So I was like, well, I know what I need to do. I need to put Tyranitar Prime in my dark theme deck. So then I looked online. I was like, I need more than one. I'm going to need like at least two. So I bought myself another Tyranitar Prime. And I beefed up my theme deck to be able to beat hers with Tyranitar Prime. And then she started buying cards so that she could beat my Tyranitar deck. And that's kind of how it goes, right? So in the process of looking up cards, I was like, okay, I need to, I'm actually curious, like when I was looking up Tyranitar Prime stuff, I was like, people actually play this game, right? And then I found sixprizes.com, which is like an article website where they talk about competitive play and stuff like that. And I started reading about it, and I realized, wow, there's like a whole competitive circuit and people play, and it's like all of that. So I was like, that sounds dope. I'm gonna try doing that. So my girlfriend and I decided we were gonna go to a pre-release. And I remember being very intimidated and not really knowing what to expect. But people were super nice, very friendly, right? And we had a lot of fun. So then we decided that we were going to start. And we used to drive hours for these things, okay? These were not local. So anybody who is like, yeah, well, I don't have any card shops near me. Dude, there are no card shops near us. I'm talking like 2 hours. Like we would drive 2 to 3 hours for these events. Easy. Just to go have fun, right? Like I live in Akron, Ohio right now. Thank you, Stunting on everybody, for the 100 bits. I live in Akron, Ohio right now, but when I was like doing all of this, I was living in Meadville, Pennsylvania, because I went to Allegheny College. Beautiful Allegheny College. Gorgeous Allegheny College. Man. Northwestern Pennsylvania. Man. She still calls to me sometimes. My alma mater. I love this place. But anyways, we went to Allegheny College. So, Allegheny College, my alma mater. Yo, show me the pictures of Allegheny College. Where we got some nice pictures at. Life in Meadville, Pennsylvania. It's a small liberal arts school, right? There are like 2,000 kids who go here. So it was cool. It was a small school though. Thank you, Big Evo, for the tier 1 sub and the 21 months. Is this an ad? No, I just love Allegheny College. It's an old school, dude. It's 200 years old. It's like one of the oldest schools in the country. But yeah, I loved my time there. But what I'm trying to say is that in Meadville, Pennsylvania, let's see, why are there now? Just give me like a gallery. You guys are really dropping the ball here, not having like a huge photo gallery. Trying to paint a picture here, all right? But yeah, it's a gorgeous little campus tucked away in Meadville, Pennsylvania. Isn't that nice? They got like old brick roads, stuff like that. It's pretty campus. Anyways, I went here. And while attending Allegheny College, got into Pokemon cards, with my girlfriend at the time. And how far from Pittsburgh? It's an hour and a half north of Pittsburgh. I'll give you an idea. So, yeah, it's an hour and a half north of Pittsburgh, 45 minutes south of Erie. Literally in the middle of nowhere. So when people tell me I can't play Pokemon cards because I live in the middle of nowhere, bro, I lived in the middle of nowhere. Hour and a half. Closest cities. In fact, my first pre-release was in Pittsburgh, which was like an hour and a half south. That was a pre-release. We drove 3 hours round trip to go to a pre-release, which was just very normal. Yeah, that was very normal back then. That's just what we did. We were committed, So, so we had a lot of fun at our pre-release, which was in Pittsburgh, or just outside of Pittsburgh. And then, and actually, when we started looking up tournaments to go to, city championships and things like that, most of the tournaments were in Akron, Ohio, which is about 2 hours from Meadville. So in like the greater Akron, Ohio area, there's Northeast Ohio is a Pokemon TCG hub. I'm just saying, if you want to live your life playing Pokemon cards, Northeast Ohio is the place to be. I found that out pretty quickly, right? Because I was living in, after college, I lived in Erie, Pennsylvania. There's not really any scenes in Erie, Pennsylvania. So I would just have to drive 2 hours to Northeast Ohio to go play Pokemon cards all the time because that's where the Pokemon cards were happening, right? So yeah, it was always, I mean, my young to mid to late 20s, I mean, I spent so much time in the car driving ridiculous amounts of miles to go play. That's just what, if you want to like really be about it, like you're either going to have to travel a lot or like live in a hub. That just is what it is, because that or you're playing online. So you could always play online. That makes accessibility easier. But like, I've always advocated the best way to build friendships and really enjoy what the game is all about is to play in person for sure. So, how old am I? 33. Yep. I'll be 34 soon. That's what I'm saying. Ash walked around the world for 25 years. I'm sorry. Which one of you guys thought you could stay in your hometown and be a Pokemon master? Because Ash Ketchum Ash Ketchum at 10 years old was like, sorry, Mom, I gotta go. Yeah. So like, and that to me, anybody who plays the Pokemon trading card game, like as a hobby, will tell you that the traveling is one of the best parts, right? Yeah, the traveling around is like one of the best parts. So we started going to a lot of tournaments in Northeast Ohio while we were living in Erie. And that would eventually become the reason that I moved to Northeast Ohio, is because all of my friends were from here, right? Because I would like go to tournaments here. And then I started to make a lot of friends here, right? And then when it came to like actually move out on my own, it made sense to live in a place where I had the most amount of connections, which was Northeast Ohio, because I'd been playing a lot of Pokemon cards. So, and then the way I went about actually making like my first friends in the game. So say like, okay, well, that's great, Andrew. You had a friend that you got into the game with. Yes, that was my girlfriend at the time. But the way that I made my first friends, like naturally in the game, was literally going to a regional championship, not knowing anybody, but seeing some people that I recognized from the Northeast Ohio tournaments that I'd been going to and just talking to them. That was it. It's like going away to college or whatever. You know, you put yourself in a situation. Thank you, Grim X Grin, for that gifted sub and the 11 gift subs so far to the channel. Appreciate you. It was just going to a regional championship. You're like a fish out of water. You don't know anybody, right? But like there were some other players who were relatively new, and it was their first regional championship too. So like we just, you know, you find somebody else who's like, all right, I saw you around at a city championship. Oh, this is your first regional too? Did we just become best friends? It was literally like that, right? It's just like, you know, you're having a common experience with somebody else. That was my good friend Nick Bailey. He passed away in 2016. But he was the first friend that I made in the Pokemon, you know, in the Pokemon trading card game. And I'll always remember that. Yeah. You know, and we just literally, we both just started talking to each other. I think I think he played against my girlfriend at that regional championship. And they kind of like talked a little bit, and we ended up like going to see a movie, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. We went and saw that movie, like just randomly. We're like, you want to go see it? Because we all did bad at the tournament, right? Because we're all very new. So obviously, like you connect with people over doing bad together also. So, you know, we connected over the fact that we were all doing bad at the tournament, and then we all went and saw a movie that night at a movie theater. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. So, like, that's how I, you know, and then through my buddy Nick knew some other people, Matt Price, who still works here at Full Grip Games now. Like, I became friends with Matt Price through Nick. You know, and then by meeting Nick, it was like all of a sudden now, you know, Nick had some friends in his local area, and then I became friends with those people, right? And then it just kind of goes from there, right? That's just how it, that's kind of just how it goes. So, yeah. Just the common experience, meeting people, being bad together. I mean, dude, when Nick and so Nick lived in Massillon, Ohio, and I lived in Erie, Pennsylvania. That's like, I think they're like literally 3 hours apart, right? They're like 3 hours apart. So when we first became friends, we used to drive an hour and a half to meet each other in the middle to test at McDonald's. Don't tell me you don't got no friends, bro. That's just like what I did. Like, don't tell me. I don't have no sympathy. Like, make it work, you know? Make it work. Do it. Yeah, just do it, you know? Make it work, man. Make it work. You know? I was broke. Barely had enough gas money to do that. But yeah, that's what we did. Like on a weekend Saturday that we were free, like, hey, want to meet up, play Pokemon? We would go, drive an hour and a half, meet at McDonald's, spend 10 hours in a McDonald's. You ever spent 10 hours in a McDonald's playing Pokemon cards? I'm just saying, you smell like McDonald's when you're done. What's hilarious is that my first tournament win, I remember my first win. Anybody here remember their first win? I remember my first win. It was a Battle Roads, okay? Y'all don't even know what a Battle Roads is. Some of you know what a Battle Roads is, but many of you guys don't even know what a Battle Roads is. Battle Roads is what they had before League Challenges. Some of y'all don't even know what a League Challenge is because Pokemon hasn't had local tournaments in 3 years because of the pandemic. But let me tell you what a Battle Roads is. Battle Roads is like a small tournament comparable to a League Challenge. Basically just like a, you get your feet wet in a tournament setting kind of deal. I was living in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I mean, this is like, I've been driving hours to test with my buddy Nick. I was not very good, but I was trying really, really, really hard. And the new season was just starting. I want to say it was like the 2012 season was. Yes, the 2012 season was starting. So, yeah, this would have been the fall of 2012. So the 2012 World Championships just happened. And then the fall of 2012. So the 2013 season was starting, but it's the fall of 2012. And I drove 2.5 hours to go to a league challenge. All right. Now, this tournament would have given out, I think this was like pre-championship points. I mean, this is like, I am just playing to play. There's nothing on the line here. I don't even think I won anything. But there were 77 players at this Battle Roads in the Cuyahoga Falls Arby's, okay? Which is crazy because I drove 2.5 hours to go play in this Arby's, okay? Which was run by AJ Schumacher, who's one of the most reputable judges in the Pokemon TCG, and Mike Collins. Anybody know Mike Collins? Professor Mikey? Prof Mikey? Yeah. Mikey and AJ ran this event, in Cuyahoga Falls, 77-player Battle Roads in an Arby's. It was like 7 rounds or something. It was crazy. 7 rounds, no top cut, because Battle Roads don't have... Of course you were there, Natalie. Every Pokemon player in the greater Northeast Ohio area was there. This was bigger than some state championships. Everybody who knew how to play Pokemon cards was in that Arby's that day. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Steuben knows. Yeah, Western Pennsylvania is terrible for Pokemon. You got to drive to Ohio. So it was the door prizes. There's always raffle time. If you know AJ, he does round three. It's raffle time, and he would raffle off like Arby's gift cards and stuff. So it was 7 rounds, no top cut. I was playing my Dynamotor Electric Mewtwo EX deck, and I won. So that's good to hear, Steve the Good. That's awesome. I remember like Sharon, West Mifflin. I remember all the places in Pennsylvania, Butler, Pennsylvania. I could tell you every city in Pennsylvania that used to have a I could tell you every city in Pennsylvania that used to have any semblance of a league, because I've been there. All right. Butler, West Mifflin, yep. And Sharon, yep. That's about it. There was and then there was like one little shop in Erie that for like a couple of years hosted, Battle Roads or cities or whatever. Yep. But it's the scene is not super strong in northwestern Pennsylvania. The scene is really strong in Akron. And one of the reasons, it's all about tournament organizers, right? I mean, because you had like the most motivated tournament organizer in Northeast Ohio. I've played Pokemon in condemned malls. That's what, if you played Pokemon in Northwestern Pennsylvania, that's what playing Pokemon was like. You'd be in condemned malls. You'd be in malls where half of the stores like are closed. You think you're walking into a ghost town, or you're like, are you sure there's a tournament here? I remember when I first started playing the game. I used to be so nervous that I'd drive like 3 hours for this little tournament and that it wouldn't actually happen, that I used to like call the tournament organizer, on like as I was leaving. I'd call the tournament organizer and it would always be AJ. I'd be like, hi, is there a Pokemon tournament happening at the Arby's, in Cuyahoga Falls today at 10 a.m.? And I'd call him at like 8 a.m., He'd be like, yeah, man. Duh. Meadville's League was in the library in a kid's room. I know, Steuben. I think I went one time to see like what the deal was, and I was like, it's not for me. Yeah. Just to kind of suss out the scene. And that's the thing about leagues, is like you don't know what the scene's going to be like unless you call ahead or kind of like ask or whatever. At Full Grip, we have a very adult Pokemon league, right? Where we host a buy-in tournament every week. It's literally $10 to buy in, and we pay out full entry in store credit. So it's a competitive event. I mean, like any adult showing up to Full Grip for League would have a great time and fit right in because it's all adults. But, sometimes you go to a league and it's a bunch of 10-year-olds with some parents and they're all playing unlimited decks and you're like, I showed up to the wrong place. So you kind of have to ask and suss out like, what's the vibes like, Anyways, I have pretty much unlimited fond memories of getting started in the Pokemon TCG. Yeah, some really great stuff. These were the most formative years of my life, going through my 20s and just meeting people, traveling around the country. I mean, I gained so much perspective about different places. I learned a lot about myself, made a lot of friends. I mean, it was some of the best years of my life. They were tough for a lot of ways, tough for a lot of reasons, because also I had no idea what I was doing existentially, but also incredibly fond. How did I meet my other friends like Riley and JW? So Nick, who I have already told you about my origin story with meeting Nick, right? Nick and Natalie had made friends because they lived in Ohio, right? They lived in Ohio. Nick and Natalie lived in Ohio and were some of my Ohio friends that I made. And kind of in the same way, right? In the same way that I lived in Pennsylvania, right, and started making friends with people who lived in Ohio, Nick and Natalie lived in Ohio and started making friends with people in Michigan, because it's like, you're traveling to and from tournaments. So like you connect with people like that. So like Natalie and Nick connected with a group of players from Michigan and started having a similar experience where they would travel to Michigan a lot to hang out with these people. And JW was part of that group. And then I ended up becoming friends with JW just by literally like that mutual connection through Nick and Natalie. Yeah. That's how I met them. And that was like JW Creewall. That was like Alex Hill, That was those guys, right? Chris DeRocher, they kind of had their own clique over there. And, my Ohio friends made friends with the Michigan people. And then by the transitive property, me being a Pennsylvania guy who had made friends with the Ohio guys, the Ohio guys making friends with the Michigan guys. And then that's how we got to know each other. Riley was from Columbus, and I didn't meet Riley until I had actually moved to Akron. And I just met Riley from being at local tournaments. You go to local tournaments, and like a young person in their like mid-20s, if you're a dude in your mid-20s or a person in your mid-20s and you like go to tournaments and you start seeing somebody else, in their mid-20s around who you kind of like chat with and they seem like cool people, you just are gonna like, you're just gonna start like talking to those people more, right? So it was like, because you're like, oh, we have stuff in common, you seem cool, like what's your deal? So you like kind of just start connecting with those kinds of people you see around, because like if you go to tournaments and stuff like locals, and that's the thing, and locals being gone for 3 years really hurts, because this is how you make friends, right? It's how you meet people. It's how you connect, is through locals. Regionals are too big, really, to like make sense of anything. Yeah, and Dankus met me through Riley, right? So Riley was from Columbus and was getting into the game, and we like chatted with Riley a bit, and he seemed pretty cool. So one time we just decided to invite him over to test for a regional championship, and he obliged and was like, yeah, sure. And he came over and he brought cookies. Yeah. And the rest is history. He brought cookies, and we're like, did we just become best friends? I invited him. He drove 2 hours. Riley lived in Columbus, drove 2 hours. Are you seeing the trend here? Okay. Are you seeing the trend? Riley drove 2 hours to come hang out and test with us for the night. We invited him to come. He could spend the night, whatever, hang out, test. And we had a great time. In my 1-bedroom apartment. Like, this is like, I didn't have much space. It's like I could offer you the love seat to sleep on. So, yeah, and then he won Dallas. That's right. That was that. Yeah, dude. We had like a big testing party. We invited him over to come test leading up to that event, and he won it. That was like literally like pre-Dallas. Yeah. That's sick. Yes, and then Dankus is also from Columbus, and Andrew Dankus, Waddling Corgis, our mod, was friends with Riley. So then when we became friends with Riley, we also inherited Andrew Dankus. Do you see how this kind of works? You inherit different people from different groups, and it just kind of all mishmashes together. That's how we inherited Dankus. Yeah, for sure. I inherited JW from from Natalie, basically. Yeah, it's pretty funny. From Natalie and Nick. What about Darium's? Well, I told you then that I moved to Akron, Ohio, because that's where all of my friends were, right? Because I had been playing, at that point, I probably moved to Akron, Ohio in 2014. So at that point, I'd been playing Pokemon competitively for 3 years. And so I had like 3 years of making friends in this area. I was like, okay. I knew, a lot of my closest friends in the game were all from this area. So I moved to Akron, Ohio, and in 2015, I won a regional championship after moving to Akron. Coincidence? I think not. And, started writing articles for Poke Beach and stuff like that. Started creating written content for the Pokemon TCG. And then, continued playing competitively. And in 2017, I was teaching and not making a lot of money because that's what teachers do. And unfortunately, we should do something about that. And I was in need of some extra cash over the summer of 2017, and there was this card shop right up the street from where my modest one-bedroom apartment was, and it was named Derium's. So the summer of 2017, I was hustling at Derium's store, right? Helping sort bulk for just cash under the table. So I would show up to the shop. They needed extra hands to help sort cards. So I'd show up, they'd throw me some cash, I'd sort cards. And there was like a group of us that did that probably for that whole summer. Because if you remember the summer of 2017, Derium's was blowing up. I mean, like the whole idea of pack opening YouTube channels was like popping off at that time. So the bulk market was also insane. All this stuff is kind of like, it's happening, right? And then, I met Derium, obviously, because I'm like at his shop, multiple times a week in the summer because I don't have work because I'm a teacher. So in the summer, I would literally show up every day to just sort cards and make some extra cash. And I met him and we started talking about, YouTube, and I had always liked making videos and doing stuff like that because I, grew up skateboarding and making skateboarding movies and things like that with my friends. Always very much a do-it-yourselfer. When YouTube came out in 2005, like I started making videos, my own videos and uploading them like as soon. I was like a very early adopter of YouTube. So we started talking about, the idea of a competitive Pokemon TCG channel. And then I top 8'd the biggest tournament ever held at the time, ever held in the United States at the time, which was the North American International Championships. So while we were having those discussions about the possibility of creating a competitive YouTube channel, I also had one of my biggest finishes, to date, because I top 8'd NAIC. So after I came home from top 8'ing NAIC, he's like, yeah, we should just do this YouTube channel and you should spearhead it. I'll pay you to do it. And that's how Derium's competitive Pokemon started. I started by making videos in his studio, kind of at his direction. And then after about 6 to 8 months of working together, we decided to go separate ways. We still have, we're still on great terms and talk all the time. But yeah, after about 6 to 8 months of working together, we decided to go our own separate ways. He's like, yeah, just rebrand the channel. You can do whatever you want with it and, knock yourself out. And then I started reaching out, for sponsors because I decided I wanted to go full time because I was still teaching at that time. So I at that point reached out to a modest local card game store, Full Grip Games, which predominantly worked with Magic the Gathering. They were very small, had about 5 employees, and their Pokemon TCG inventory was about 2 5-row boxes. But the owner of that store was interested in investing into Pokemon And so I was like, listen, I've got, this YouTube channel, small, maybe about 30,000 subscribers, 30,000 subscribers, but I'm looking to take it full time. And, I'm looking for a little bit of stability because I want to quit my job and just do this and really go for it. And he was like, yeah, man, okay. I'll give you $25,000 a year to work at the card shop. And you can process videos while on the clock, but you're going to have to sort cards and help us hustle here and help us grow the store. And that was enough for me. I was like, sure. Yeah, that's it. I was like, that's all I needed was $25,000. I was like, I can pay my modest rent and pay my car with that, so I could quit everything and just invest into making a living doing Pokemon stuff. And within 8 months of working with Full Grip, we had come to the agreement that I had helped the store grow so much and done so much in the way of advertising that I no longer needed to work at the store, and that we had renegotiated a sponsorship deal, and I've continued to grow with the store ever since. So now it is a sponsorship deal. And I make about a third of my income from Full Grip, about a third of my income from Twitch. That's you guys. And about a third of my income from YouTube. It's almost kind of dead on the nose, about a third. But I have healthcare through Full Grip now. Full Grip is continued to grow, and my salary with Full Grip has continued to grow with the shop. And now I have healthcare through the store. Full Grip Games has over a dozen employees, about a dozen employees. My studio has grown astronomically in the handful of years that I've been here. And I take a lot of pride in what we've been able to do here at the shop. As a business, I take a lot of pride in being able to help provide employment opportunities for my friends. So when I advertise for Full Grip Games and I'm like, yeah, you guys should shop here because it helps support the channel, it doesn't just help support the channel. It helps to allow all of my friends and the closest people to me in my life to be able to make a living here at the store. It provides our health care. It, allows us to pay rent, allows us to pay our mortgages and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's huge. And when I bust my butt to work extra hard to advertise for Full Grip and to help support the shop here, because I see that as I'm helping to provide for my friends. You know what I mean? I'm helping to provide for them so that they can make ends meet. And I take a lot of pride in that. So thank you, Plays for Days, for that tier 1 sub, 45 months. Yo, appreciate you. Yo, thank you, JR. Thank you. But yeah. Yo, thanks, Edwin, for the Prime sub. Yeah, you guys trying to do all the math, trying to figure out if you can count for inflation, how much does he make now? Bro, I've gotten raises since then. I'm not still, I've gotten raises since then to advertise for Full Grip, but it's still pretty modest, I'm extremely blessed and I'm doing well for myself, but don't worry about all that, And the thing about my deal with Full Grip Games is that they pay me a salary and my health care to advertise for the store, right? And I could live off of just the salary from Full Grip. I could live off of it. But I also own Tricky Gym, right? So I own my YouTube ad rev, and I own the Twitch channel and all of that. And those three things combined, thank you T-Bob for the tier 1 sub. Those three things combined allow me to make a good living, and also allow me to continue to invest into the channel. Okay. And then the X factor, the fourth thing, I said I make a third of my income through Full Grip, a third of my income through YouTube, and a third of my income through Twitch. And the fourth X factor, who knows what the X factor is? My OnlyFans. Yes, the X factor is Pikachu. That's right. Yes, the X factor is Pikachu. But I can't depend on that, because when Pikachu decides to come calling, it's not regular. That's more like TPCI, right? That's like freelance. It's freelance work, right? I mean, essentially. So, yeah, big peak. And like merch and, stuff like that. There are other things. But, I'm incredibly blessed, and I'm incredibly thankful. Some of it was right place, right time. Some of it was having the right skill set and working really hard to develop that skill set over the course of my entire life. I'm just incredibly blessed and thankful. I've always, kind of kept my head up and just looked for opportunities as they've come up. I've worked like a dozen other odd jobs when I was, to kind of like piece it all together. When I was living in Meadville, Pennsylvania, I was working 16 hours a week as a photojournalist, and then was also working at the local Cracker Barrel to make ends meet. This is when I started playing Pokemon. I was working 16 hours a week as a photojournalist, and then working at Cracker Barrel, waiting tables. And I've valeted cars. I've been a photojournalist. I've been a one-to-one aide in a classroom. I've been a teacher. I've done a lot of different stuff. I've hustled at, thank you, Ewok Glow for that sub. I appreciate you, Ewok. Thank you. I was going to graduate school for special education when I quit everything. I have half a graduate degree. I have half a master's degree in special education. I mean, I was like literally, thank you, Skilled at Luck, for the sub in the 13 months. Yeah. I was a special education teacher, and I have half a master's degree in special education, and I was pulling my hair out because I was going to school, I was making YouTube videos, and I was teaching full time, all at the same time. And I was like losing my mind because I was like, I can't continue to do this all. And that's when my arrangement with Darium's dissolved. So I was kind of came to a crossroads where I had to choose a path in my life because I was trying to do everything. And I was like, all right, I either need to, and I had sunk thousands and thousands of dollars into that master's degree. Dude, I had already sunk a lot of time and money into that master's degree, bro. Like, I had really been working my butt off for that. I don't think you understand. You know, I had been going to graduate school for years. I had been teaching for years. All right. I had been teaching for for years. I'd been going to graduate school for years. I'd pay thousands and thousands of dollars of my own money to pay for my education, to give myself a chance to be a special education teacher long term. And then I quit all of it for a YouTube channel with 20 to 30,000 subscribers and a promise of $25,000 a year from a little card shop in Akron, Ohio. That was it, bro. That was it. You know, I quit everything. Yeah, thank you, Monarch Master, for that 5 gifted subs. Let's get some hype in the chat for Monarch Master. So yeah, it took a leap of faith. Had to just go for it, you know? And I was I was 28 when I did that. Yeah, thank you, Snorlax, for those 5 gifted subs. Let's get some hype going in the chat. Thank you, guys. Hopefully you're all having a wonderful day. Thank you. And now, I got the best job in the world. I mean, I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful. Really. I mean, I wake up in disbelief that I get to go to work and do what I, Yeah, now I fully believe that I got the best job in the world. Dude, I could not imagine doing anything else. For sure. Yeah, it's wonderful. I'm so thankful. It's crazy. It's been a crazy handful of years. Yeah, thank you, Sideways Rain. Yeah. It's been a crazy handful of years. A lot of it, it's things just kind of all clicked at the right time. And, sometimes it's just like that. But I've also just been incredibly driven and passionate. It's I didn't just luck into this entirely, I also have, worked really hard. I've worked really hard too, So that's part of it. But yeah, I've been playing Pokemon for 10 years. Over 10 years. 11, 12 years now. And now it's looking like this is going to be my life's work. And I'm so blessed and so thankful to have Natalie by my side. She is... Things really... I don't know if you guys know, but things really went into hyperdrive here at Tricky Jim when Natalie and I started dating. She has been the most incredible supports for the channel and for me as a person. Yeah. Natalie has really helped this channel to become something special. So, yes, a lot of it is her work as well. And thank you guys for the hype train too. I promise we'll play some Pokemon cards today. But story time just kind of comes up. And now that I know that this whole story time is going to live on the Tricky Jim VOD's YouTube channel, it'll be there forever. So if anybody ever asks any of these questions again, I'm just going to go point you over to that VOD, and you can go there and you can hear about the lore. Yes. You can hear about the lore. Are there any other questions that need answered? Okay. Before we go forward, any other questions? Because I feel like I got it kind of all aired out now. How did I meet Azul? Like I've met every other Pokemon player through tournaments. Actually, Azul, me and Azul had our mutual friend Jimmy Pendarvis was like our link. So I met Jimmy Pendarvis during a brief time when I lived in Maryland back with my parents because I had a falling out with the girl that I was dating and got into the game with. So I moved back home for a little while because I was broke. So I met Jimmy Pendarvis there, and that's how Jimmy Pendarvis and I became friends. And Jimmy Pendarvis and Azul were good friends. And then that's how we became friends. I got any skate videos out there? I've done a show and tell of my skate video one time. I'll have to like actually upload it to YouTube. But I have like a skate movie that I created winter of 2006, 2007. And it was produced in conjunction with my local skate shop, Skateology, in Bel Air, Maryland. And they threw me a premiere party for it. And I was selling copies of the skateboard movie out of Skateology. It was called Box Hizzle because I grew up in Box Hill, Maryland. And the name of the skate video was Box Hizzle. What's the next tattoo? I do not know. Drop my sponsor me vid. You like movies about gladiators? Thank you, Janksy, for that Prime sub. The most scuffed thing I did while valeting was definitely scuff a couple of cars. So I told you that me and my girlfriend at the time had a falling out. It was for the best, but I was very emotionally distraught after that, and I in the 2 weeks after my breakup. Keep in mind, I'm like 23. In like the 2 weeks after our breakup, I scuffed 2 cars. I had two cars. And this is at the nicest restaurant in Baltimore, okay? Look up Charleston. Look up the restaurant, the Charleston at Baltimore. You had to know somebody to get a valet job at this restaurant, okay? And I did. I had a buddy of mine from church growing up who worked here. I got this job just because of somebody I knew. Valeting cars here, right? It's one of the nicest restaurants in Baltimore, you know. And I valeted cars here. And so when you scuffed a car at the Charleston, bro, you didn't want to do that. Okay? People are out spending hundreds of dollars on their meals. You know? You can't scuff their car. I got to valet Cal Ripken's car here once. That was dope. Yeah, bro. Look at this place. Nuts, right? The wine library. But yeah, so I had to have a talk with the manager, who told me he's like, I know we haven't ever had this conversation, but there's an unspoken rule. 3 strikes and you're out. So I was like, yes, sir. All right, I won't do it again, man. But I was having a bad couple of weeks. So that was a rough patch there. But it was cool. You guys know what the interview process is like to get a job as a valet? Like, so, can you drive stick shift? And I was like, yeah, my main driver is a stick. Can you start on Monday? It's like, that's how the interview is, literally how the interview. Yep. Yeah. Can you drive? Can you run? Yeah. Obviously, bro, I was 23 and I was a nationally competitive running athlete at 21. So they didn't have to ask me if I could run. Yeah. I looked the part. Yeah, man. They didn't have to ask me if I could run, bro. I was all of 150 pounds, 6 foot, 150 pounds. That was 50 pounds ago, man. But yeah, that's I think that's about it. Where do I want to be in a few years? A good question from Lance-O-Matic. My first pack that I ever opened was definitely base set. I got a Scoop Up as my rare and an Arcanine as the best card in the pack. It was an uncommon. Where do I want to be in a few years? This is a weird question. Not a weird question, but it's a weird question to think about when you're someone who kind of works in this field, because the answer is, I don't know. I just want to be somewhere, continuing to do what I love. So when you do this kind of work, you have to just kind of continue doing, continue working hard, continue, pouring your heart into what you love. But then you also have to kind of keep your eyes open for opportunities to do things to continue to be relevant. You can't just like let yourself kind of fade into obscurity. So for me, it hasn't really been a problem because I'm so obsessed with this stuff that I just work harder than everybody else in this field, like I work harder. So there's not really anybody that's trying to produce tabletop Pokemon TCG content on the same level that we are. There's not anybody else who's really trying to create Pokemon TCG content on the same level that we do here. It's just not, you know what I mean? So like, I have some comfort in that I've worked for this position and that I've kind of earned it. But, I want to continue to see Full Grip grow. So I'm going to continue to help, help the shop grow so that, really, I want to continue to help make opportunities for, for other people to make a living doing what they love doing. And that's the thing that I take the most pride in here at the shop. Like, I don't need, I don't need a ton of money. I just want to help other people to be able to make a living also. You know what I mean? in my mind, there's no use just like, because I've had this conversation with people, who are like, don't you want to like make it big? Don't you want to like have 1 million subs on YouTube? Don't you want to like, branch out and try other games and blow up and become viral? And the answer to all those questions is no, because I don't care about any of that. I'm already incredibly blessed. I make a good living doing what I love to do. I don't want to compromise what I love to do or what I'm passionate about to try and make a lot of money. Like, I don't want to curse, but what the heck do I need more money for? You know what I mean? Like, bro, more money, more problems. You feel me? Like, you don't need no more money. Like, come on. So for me, what I want to do is to continue to push the envelope to grow the game, to grow the production value of the tabletop content that I produce, to try and help. At the core, if you ask me, like, why am I doing this? It's because I was able to make some of my best friends through the Pokemon trading card game. Eventually met my wife, Natalie, through the Pokemon trading card game. And I believe wholeheartedly in the ability for people to connect and have meaningful relationships that they build through a tabletop gaming experience. So, and I believe in the Pokemon TCG is a great tabletop gaming experience that I think people can connect over and build lifelong friendships through. So my mission statement then is to create a safe and loving space for other people to make those kinds of lifelong friendships, and for people to learn the game so that they can share it with the people that they are closest to in their lives, to build lifelong friendships and relationships, as I did. So if I can make a living doing that, then I'm winning. And that's all I really care to do, because I feel like that's the best I can do in this life. And if I look back, I'll be like, you know what? I was able to share, my loves and passions with the world, and hopefully, other people have had positive, good, meaningful experiences because of the stuff that I was able to create and put out there. No amount of that, like, I don't care about making more money or having more followers or, doing anything like that. Would it be nice to hit 100,000 subs on YouTube? Okay, sure. We're at 97. So like, we're pretty close. I'll take it. If we get to 100K, that'd be pretty dope. But like, outside of that, like, I don't really care, bro. Like, it's fine. I just want to continue to do what I love and share what I love with everybody else. So that's what we're doing. But yeah, that's always a funny question. Like, hey man, haven't you thought about getting into other games? Haven't you thought about, like, what if what do you think you need to do to get like to 1 million subs? Like, that's not what it's all about. And I feel like that doesn't pass the smell test. Like, people know if you're in it for the cloud, or you're in it for you're in it for all of that, doesn't pass the smell test. People know, and people will find out. And it's like, and even if nobody knew, and even if nobody ever found out, I would know. And that, I couldn't live with that, right? Yeah. Like, I wouldn't be happy with myself or what I do if that's all I was trying to accomplish. You feel me? So I take a lot of pride in what we do here. Playing Pokemon cards. So, I want to give Natalie a good place to cut the VOD. I've been going for like an hour and a half at this point. Let's I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. And when I get back, it's time to play cards, all right? That's it. So I'll be right back. When I get back, we'll play some cards, new Silver Tempest decks. I'll build whatever deck you guys want me to build, bro. Whatever deck you guys want. I don't really know what deck we're going to play yet, but something broken. Something with new Silver Tempest cards. So I'll be right back after this. Congratulations again to Pedro. Was able to win the regional championships in Poland. That was sick. And Alex Szymanski finished second place. That was awesome. All right, give me a moment. I'll be right back. Hang tight.